Did you have a news
Dude
or anything this time? Because I didn't.
Oh yeah, Corona. Yeah.
You're fucking. You're
Super tall.
You're as bad as the goddamn media is.
No. I'm not. Actually, I actually agree with you on what Trump was saying at first. So, yeah, it's weird. I'm in a position as a liberal. Yeah. But I got corona'd. I'm back home, obviously. This is one of those times, one of those weeks where we wouldn't be video chatting. But we're video chatting because I'm in my nice, stable internet back home with my nice studio.
I thought it was weird when you video called me, but I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah. You know why I got corona'd?
Why?
Because my daughter got sick. Okay, so what? Thursday, we got an email. So we're recording this on Sunday. Thursday, I got an email from work. Everybody got an email saying, report yourself if you meet these conditions. And one of the conditions is if somebody you've been in recent contact with, family member or such, got sick, let them know. I did. And they said, okay, work from home for the next 2 weeks. So I got out of school suspension with paid work. So cool. For 2 weeks.
We had our weekly meeting yesterday at work, and they're running down this coronavirus shit. And they're like, if you have a tickle in your throat or you're coughing or whatever, just go ahead and take the day off or whatever. And then, of course, like, me being a pot smoker, I cough occasionally, and every time I cough, I feel like everybody's fucking looking at me.
Because they are. Me too. Like, I cough all the time. I fucking get stoned at lunch and shit. And, well, I don't get stoned anymore, but I smoke weed at lunch and shit, and so I come back coughing. And everybody's looking at me.
See, and I don't smoke throughout the day at all. I wait till I get home from work in the evening and have a smoke.
Some of us are responsible pot smokers. Some of us aren't. So, eat my balls.
What the fuck are we talking about today, Darby?
Well, first of all, we are the Higher Minds podcast. That's who is talking about it.
Yeah.
I am Darby, as you just said. Who are you?
I'm not Darby. I'm Scott.
You are not Darby. You're Scott. Thank you, Scott.
What the fuck are we talking about today, Darby?
Dyatlov Pass. We're talking about the Dyatlov Pass. I found a bunch of shit on this. There's all sorts of podcasts and shit. So we are probably the first one that's going to solve this mystery. Nobody else has been able to solve this mystery, and we've solved, 4 already?
We've solved a couple, yeah. We've also created a couple and solved them.
Right.
Right back.
So, I think we're better detectives than probably Batman.
I think my favorite one is still the Mary Shelley mystery that we made and solved.
We didn't make it. That's a fucking bona fide fucking mystery. All those people died around her. All of those people. It's weird. Drowned in a fucking lake. My ass. No, he didn't. If, for those of you who haven't heard, go back and listen to our Mary Shelley episode, because it really is a edge of your seat, nail biting mystery that Scott and I solved.
Created and solved.
Mary Shelley created it.
We connected all the dots.
Dot connectors. Anyway, so we're going to solve this for you.
Now? I can hear it through my goddamn earpiece. I know the microphone's picking it up. That's fucking annoying.
I'm packing a bowl. And that is acceptable noise. So, again.
Do it quieter.
Eat me testicles. That's Scottish for eat my testicles.
Your accents.
I know. I'm spot on. I can do any accent that you ask me to do.
The Pee Wee Herman one was like painful to listen to.
Oh, it hurt. Oh, editing that. Oh, that sucked so bad. Oh, God. Thank you, Katie, for contributing to our last episode, though.
Yeah. Good job. Well done.
Yeah.
Pat on the back.
Yeah. So the Dyatlov Pass. I didn't really, honestly, even though there's a ton of shit, and this is one of the more popular mysteries, I didn't really know too much about this. I knew that there was something having to do with a group of people that got lost on the mountain, and some died at least, and they had something to do with an alien, but I didn't know much about it until today. Today. This is when I did the research.
I went down this rabbit hole like a couple years ago, but had learned so much shit in between, I forgot that. A lot of weed smoking in there too, I guess, too.
Yeah.
I had to relearn all this shit.
Yeah. So, let me give you an overview of kind of what I knew to begin with. A little more detail than what I knew before. But I want to cite my sources.
You talk good.
I got information from Stuff You Should Know podcast and Snopes.com. I was surprised with the Snopes had a full-on article about it. I was kind of surprised. They had some pretty good information too. So Dyatlov Pass was named after Igor Dyatlov, one of the 10 students who were on this trip. It happened in 1959, which was a year after my mother was born. Apparently only one survived, Yuri Yudin, who got stuck in the village the night before they went out because he had rheumatism.
Yeah, he was suffering from joint and knee pain and shit.
Yeah.
And decided that hiking up a mountain probably wasn't what he needed to be doing right then and there.
So he was either suffering from probably because of the bariatric pressure. It was up in the mountains, so that might have affected him. Or he was just a little bitch. One of the two. So this was a group.
Little bitch that lived, though, so.
Bitches live. So what can I say? So this was students and graduates from Ural Polytechnic Institute. After this, the team were found near the campsite on a mountain called Kolat Syakhl, which means dead mountain in Mansi, which is the language of one of the indigenous peoples there. They camped on Dead Mountain. That's cool.
Do you know why it's called Dead Mountain?
Because it's dead.
Because there's a severe lack of things to hunt there.
Except for people.
Nothing lives there. There's no point in going there.
Yeah. Well, in fact, so this next line here is their plan was to set out on January 27th from Yekaterinburg and hike.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce any of these names.
I rehearsed pronouncing these names. I'm going to try all of them. But Yekaterinburg, and they were going to hike/ski 7 miles to Gora or Otorten, which in Mansi, get this, means don't go there. So there's all of these signs saying don't fucking go. And yeah. They died on the 2nd of February on Kolat Syakhl after being sidetracked by a snowstorm. The mystery of how and why remains today. So what happened?
I'm finding my notes where you left off, basically.
Scotty Shack.
On the 27th of January, they began their trek towards Gora or Torten from Vizhay. On January the 28th, one of the members turned back, Yuri Yudin. Then on January the 31st, the group arrived at the edge of a highland area and began to prepare for climbing. They left surplus food and equipment there in the woods that they would use on their trip back down the mountain.
Or would they? Dun, dun, dun. I've already given everybody a spoiler alert, by the way. Spoiler alert, everybody. Everything I said before.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of spoiler alerted with, and then they died.
I mean, that's kind of, I think everybody should know that before getting into this, right?
The dying part is not the mystery part. So
right.
I didn't really give anything.
Okay,
yet.
that's what I thought. I mean, we know what happened. Now we're going back.
I mean, you and I know what happened. The listeners might not yet. I mean, they do now, but
and between my part and your part, there was that big sign that everybody read that said 24 hours earlier. No, because it wasn't there. You can't read a podcast, at least not our podcast. Some podcasts you can because they're on YouTube, which I'm gonna get caught up because I got coroned, but but our podcast you can't reach it. Yeah, I do. It's great. It's fucking yeah. Anyway, please. Did they use the food coming back down? They left food there.
On the 1st of February, the hikers started to move through the pass. It's believed that they plan to get over the pass into the other side to make camp before the nightfall. But because of worsening weather conditions, they lost their direction and drifted west up towards the top of Kolotsikal, maybe some other fucking mountain. They were going up some other fucking
mountain. Go Scott.
When they realized their mistake.
With your pronunciations?
Struggling through Russian names? Yeah. You're going to find here in a little bit that I'm using a lot of pronouns and he's and she's and shit.
He said, and then she said, and then she did, and then he did. And what happened was...
Exactly. When they realized their mistake, the group decided to stop and set up camp on the side of the mountain, even though there was a wooded area like a mile downhill from them. You would think in a snowstorm, you'd want to be in the trees, block a little bit of that fucking wind and shit. No, it fucking set up on the side of a goddamn mountain.
So, I mean, yeah, I would rather be in the tree. Like, I think the town and everybody, I think they knew that.
I would rather have to walk that mile uphill again the next morning than fucking sleep on the side of a mountain.
I would snowstorm. So much rather walk up a mountain during full light than like halfway up, like in the middle of the day and halfway up the next day in a tent.
In a tent.
So, by the way, all they had was tents.
Yudin, the guy who turned back on day one, the smartest one of the whole fucking bunch, he's quoted as saying Igor, whatever the fuck the name of this pass is.
Dyatlov
or whatever.
Dyatlov.
Yeah. Dyatlov, yeah. He's quoted as saying he probably did not want to lose the altitude they had gained, or he decided to practice camping on the mountain slope. As to
on Dead Mountain.
Down the hill to the woods.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. On the 20th of February, the relatives of the travelers demanded a rescue operation. The head of the institute where they were all students sent the first rescue groups consisting of volunteer students and teachers out. Later on, the army and police forces became involved, with planes and helicopters being ordered to join the rescue operation as well. Prior to leaving, Igor said that he would send a telegram to their sports club as soon as the group returned, and expected to be back by the 12th of February. However, Igor had told Yudin before he turned back that he expected it would take longer than expected due to the weather. So when the 12th came around and they didn't hear back from him, nobody thought anything of it. They gave him a couple extra days or whatever and just assumed they got stuck with weather. Shit happens on a mountain. On February the 26th, the researchers found the group's abandoned and badly damaged tent. Mikhail Sharavin, the student who found the tent, said, quote, "The tent was half torn down and covered with snow. It was empty, and all the group's belongings and shoes had been left behind. Investigators said the tent had been cut open from the inside. 8 or 9 sets of footprints left by people who were wearing only socks, single shoes, or completely barefoot could be followed leading down towards the edge of the woods nearby. The woods that they should have.
Or should they have? I mean, they apparently went there eventually. Would that have hastened?
They ended up there anyways.
Right.
I mean, just there.
Get to your end. Like, what the fuck are you waiting for?
At the forest edge, under a large Siberian pine, the search team found the visible remains of a small fire. There were also the first 2 bodies found there, shoeless and dressed only in their underwear. Now, at this time, it's well below freezing on the side of a mountain.
But I mean, what was that? Do you ever watch The Sopranos?
No.
Okay. I think you would like it.
Episode.
But there's this one part where this one Russian ex-Russian special forces guy is kidnapped by the mob, and he's taken out into like the woods, like in the middle of the winter and shit, and he's at one point says, do you think this cold bothers me? I wash my balls in ice or something. So these are Russians in snow. They're, they wash their balls in ice. Even the women wash their balls in ice. That's what I'm getting at.
They're built for this kind of shit. Is that what you're getting at?
The Russians.
Is that a very long way to get
to?
They're built for this kind of cold weather. The branches of the tree they were under were broken up to 5 meters high.
That's 15 feet.
Like, 20-ish feet. Suggesting that one of the skiers had climbed up the tree to look back towards
That's one reason.
Earlier. So for some reason,
I mean, that's
fucking getting a vantage point.
An assumption.
To look back at that camp. Between the trees and the camp, the searchers found 3 more corpses, including Igor, the leader of the expedition. These 3 seem to have died in a way suggesting they were trying to make their way back towards the tent. They were found separately at distance of 300, 400, and 630 meters from the tree where the first 2 bodies were found. The other 4 people weren't found for another 2 months on the 4th of May. They were discovered under 4 meters, or about 13 feet of snow, in a ravine about 75 meters, or 250 feet, farther into the woods from where the first 2 were found. 3 of these 4...
wait, how far away?
About 250 feet.
So... Okay, alright. I'm thinking 2.5 football fields. That's yards.
End zone to... What?
I don't know what the feet yard conversion is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, but cool. Some ways away.
Yes. They made it
25
harder than everybody else.
25 basketball poles. Pole. He.
Jesus. 3 of those 4 were better dressed than the others. There were signs that those who had died first had their clothes removed and the others put them on. One of the women was found wearing one of the men's burned and torn pants, and her left foot and shin were wrapped in a torn jacket. So these were likely the last to be alive.
Yeah.
A medical examination found no injuries that might have led to their deaths, and it was eventually concluded that they had all died from hypothermia. One of the bodies had a small crack in his skull, but it was not thought to have been fatal. However, after the second group of bodies, the other 4 bodies were found 2 months later, they kind of told a different story. 3 of the hikers had fatal injuries. 1 had a major skull damage, and 2 had broken ribs. According to Boris, jeez, these fucking Russian names, Vozrozdeny, maybe?
Vozrozdeny. Boris Vozrozdeny.
I feel like I'm not drunk enough to say Russian names.
Russian.
Russian
sounds happy and sad all at the same time.
Say that again?
Russian sounds happy and sad all at the same time.
Why do you sound a little bit Indian there, too?
Yeah, at the end, that was a little Indian. Indian also sounds like that. I don't know. I have to have a series of consonants to really sound Russian. Like Dyatlov.
Is that what the problem is there?
Yeah.
It's not just that you're terrible at accents.
No, I'm actually not. I'm actually very skilled and very, very good at accents. It's just your audio palette that is unrefined.
Anyways, back to dead Russians on a mountain.
Russians on a dead mountain? Or live Russians on a dead mountain?
Dead Russians on a dead mountain. One of the ones found 2 months later in May had a major skull damage. 2 others had broken ribs. According to Boris, the force required to cause such damage would have been extremely high, comparable to the force of a car crash. Notably, though, the bodies didn't have any external damage, no cuts and bruising or anything, leading to belief that they were subjected to high levels of pressure, like they were crushed to death, basically. Whether it be from falling or an avalanche or a cave-in of some sort.
And so you've mentioned several different types of injuries, and it's very strange. And all of these injuries, I kind of want to say, and there's more I think you're gonna mention. At least I know of more. But it's all of these different types of seemingly unrelated types of injuries that has made this such a fucking weird, wide variety of conspiracy theories, or have spawned a wide variety of different conspiracy theories. It seems like each conspiracy theorist holds on to one type of injury and then goes in that direction with it.
I love conspiracy theories as much as the next person, but I can see a lot of holes in a lot of these theories about this case.
Every hypothesis that I found has big holes, and it doesn't explain. It can explain one set of injuries, but not all of them.
Right.
But honestly, I can't.
Yeah. Each of them.
Sitting here, I can't think of a reason that all of those different types of injuries happened either. It had to be a weird series of coincidences that happened. It's something weird happened.
I have an idea of what would cause most of those injuries.
But all of them?
That we'll get to at the end of this.
But all of them? There's one that's just weird.
Skull and rib damage.
What's that?
The skull and the rib damage, the fatal blows.
Sure, and then the hypothermia and all of that makes is easily explained together. But please continue. What else do you got about it? Because there is more weird.
All 4 of these bodies were found at the bottom of a flowing creek, so they're in running water. Soft tissue damage was caused by this running cold, frigid ass water to the face and head of these people. One was missing her tongue, eyes, and part of her lips, as well as more facial tissue and a fragment of skull bone. Another was missing his eyeballs, and a third was missing his eyebrows.
I went missing my eyebrows once when I was a kid. I got a hold of my mom's razor, and I was missing part of one eyebrow, and then I was missing all of one eyebrow, and I was missing the other eyebrow, and I was missing my eyebrows for a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, when I was a little kid. So what I'm saying is,
was this one having the slash through your eyebrow was a cool thing to do?
Oh no, I'm talking about when I was a little kid, when I was 5.
Oh, so back in the 50s.
Yeah, when that shit nobody ever did that. I was just being a stupid kid. So what I'm saying is, what probably happened is this guy probably got a hold of his mom's razor and killed himself by shaving his eyebrows off. That's probably how he died. It's another mystery solved. You're welcome.
Nowhere, Russia.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Check. Next.
Forensic experts performing the post-mortem examination judge that these injuries happened post-mortem due to the location of the bodies in the stream. So 6 members of this group died by hypothermia, and 3 from fatal injuries.
Which, I mean, is a PSA to everybody,
conspiracy theories.
to all of our 200 some listeners. Don't play with your mom's razors. You'll die.
Don't try to climb mountains in Russia in February. That's a better lesson. It's fucking cold.
Equally good lessons.
So let's hear some of these conspiracy theories and see how many holes we can poke through them.
Was that it?
That's it. That gets us to the dead people.
Dead people.
That's where you take over.
So, police and military obviously were baffled with what they found. As you said, the skiers' hikers, whatever, the group's tents had been opened from the inside and hurriedly abandoned. Their belongings were left inside, but the skiers weren't there. The placement and conditions of the bodies found as far as a kilometer and a half, almost a mile, from the tent and buried under 4 meters, 13 feet of snow were odd, to say the least. So investigators concluded that the cause of death were natural forces they were unable to overcome. So questions left unanswered were why did the skiers flee from the safety of their tents, the relative safety of their tents? Why did they leave their warmer clothes and other belongings behind? Why did some freeze and yet others show signs of internal trauma? Who removed the tongue of one of the victims? And why the fuck were there traces of radiation found in their clothing? Did you go over that? I didn't hear you say that. The radiation part?
That's because 2 of the people in that group worked at a radiation facility and would naturally have radiation on their clothing.
Another mystery solved.
Debunked.
No, right. All right. So.
It's a non-point.
I just pointed at him ferociously to everybody listening. Because I don't know. I don't know why, because I do that shit.
It's a good thing you do visual things.
I know. So, fireballs in the sky. Eyewitnesses report observing fast-moving balls of fire in the night sky around the same time as the incident. It was proposed that the fireballs were Soviet missiles. However, eyewitness reports state that one of the fireballs exploded or emitted an unspecified beam of energy, which was found to have directly caused one of the skiers' deaths. This was the earliest paranormal explanation of the incident. This theory was proposed 31 years later in 1990 by former public prosecutor Lev Ivanov. Yeah, that was good, right? You like that? Who was one of the original investigators. Another author, however, says that there's no evidence that these fireballs happened on that date. So, I don't know. That's Snopes for you. Other than the supernatural explanation,
those fireballs were reported by other hikers on the mountain, military and police, I believe. So, credible sources.
Right. And I read that too. I didn't add all the detail there. But yes, there were credible sources. But what this other author was saying was that, yes, the credible sources that the fireballs occurred, but not necessarily on that day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Other than the supernatural explanation, other explanations suggested there were animal attacks, a Yeti attack, an avalanche, and secret KGB activity. The investigation has been declassified over the years, but the original paperwork still leaves a lot of holes to be filled. Yeah. You like them holes being filled, don't you? Scott, holes being filled, Shackelford.
Can I debunk some of that, or are you going to dig in farther?
What'd you say?
Those? Can I debunk some of that, or are you going to dig in?
Oh, I'm going to dig in deeper a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll debunk them then.
So, the Yeti. A June 2014 ad for a documentary on Discovery Channel called Russian Yeti, The Killer Lives went. Russian Yeti, The Killer Lives went. On February 2nd, 1959, 9 college students hiked up icy slopes of the Ural Mountains in the heart of Russia, but never made it out alive. Investigators have never been able to give a definitive answer behind who or what caused the bizarre crime. 55 years later, American explorer Mike Lebecki reinvestigates the mystery known as the Dyatlov Pass incident. But what he uncovers is truly horrifying. Follow the trail of evidence. Mike finds hikers were not alone. A photograph taken by one of the hikers a day before they died suggests that they encountered a Yeti. You like that?
How many times did you practice?
Twice, motherfucker.
Oh, fuck.
So...
You know how hard it was not to just laugh that whole time?
That's going to be on my clip reel, my audition reel.
Your highlight reel?
Thank you, my highlight reel. So there have been stories of the Abominable Snowman there, though no one has been able to verify this cryptid is there. Just like in the U.S. Cryptids, check out our cryptid episode number earlier than this one. This is episode number 55, by the way. Wow.
It is.
Yeah. Anyway. So Mike Lebecki, the guy who did that, concluded that it had to be a Yeti because one of the members had their tongue ripped out. Because that doesn't happen, quote unquote, from an avalanche. Which, it doesn't. He then...
Except that person with the missing tongue was found face down in a stream under 13 feet of snow.
So it probably wasn't the stream itself because cold water and stuff that would preserve it, but it was probably predators. Like, the stream probably had some sort of life that was feeding off of it. Fish or microbes or something.
From what I had researched, the facial damage to the people that were found like 2 months later in May, that was due to the stream that they were found in. Whether it be from fish in that stream or the cold water.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be from decomposition because cold would keep it from decomposing.
Right.
But
yeah, you don't rot.
Right. But yes, you're right. I mean, that's why they found everything else but what was eaten. So, well preserved. So Mike Lebecki then tweeted a crystal clear picture of the group teaching, so then he tweeted a crystal clear picture of the group teaching the Yeti how to cook food over a fire, and one of the students holding a chalkboard sign saying, "Our amazing new friend," quote unquote. It was written in Russian. That was found on one of the cameras. Did you know that? Did you?
Is this the same documentary team that did the Mermaids Are Real thing on Discovery? Same channel. I mean.
Actually, no, that was all bullshit. I just made that shit up. Actually, what he tweeted was a grainy picture of a blurry, dark.
So was the mermaid documentary.
What's that? What'd you say?
I said, so was the mermaid documentary. It was all bullshit, too.
Yeah. But no, he did tweet a picture, but it was a blurry, darkened shape of something resembling a Yeti, claiming he found it on one of the skiers' cameras. But the problem with that is that picture could have... What?
What if Bigfoot is just blurry?
Is that somebody's bit? Whose bit is that? Some stand-up comedians?
I don't know. I probably picked it up from somewhere.
I've heard that before, yeah.
It sounds like something like Mitch Hedberg or somebody.
Yeah. I think it was Mitch Hedberg or something. But it was they were able to recreate the exact same image with a full-grown, regular-sized man. And as far as the tongue and stuff go, like you said, it was due to environmental circumstances, not because a fucking Yeti ripped out her tongue. He ripped out her tongue as a symbol or as a message to the others to stay silent because he's very secretive.
He was going to make a keychain out
of it. Like a rabbit's foot. People tongue. You have some of those, don't you?
The what?
Huh?
I have some of what?
People tongue keychains for good luck?
No, I keep the ears.
Oh, my bad.
They already got holes in them usually.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. You're a practical psychopath. Cool.
I am, yeah. I want to do more work.
What were you saying? Go ahead, debunk whatever.
To debunk the Yeti thing, when they discovered the camp, the only footprints there were the people's footprints leading away from the tent. There's no animal tracks, no Yeti tracks, whatever.
But the snow could have covered
And on
it
that
up.
same note, if it was an avalanche that ran them away, there wouldn't have been footprints.
Yeah. So, the infrasound hypothesis. A lot of this was quoted directly from Snopes, so I'll go through it as quickly and efficiently as I can. The same applies to some of the putatively scientific explanations offered up in recent years. Author Donnie Eicher proposed in his 2013 book Dead Mountain, The Untold True Story of the Dyatlov Pass Incident, for example, that the skiers may have been driven to hysteria by infrasound waves caused by a weather phenomenon known as Kármán vortex street. In simplest terms, a Kármán vortex street is an oscillating pattern that emerges when a fluid or gas, in this instance wind, flows around a suitably shaped object, in this instance a topographical feature, the mountain. When they occur on such a large scale, these wind patterns can theoretically generate very low frequency sound waves that have been blamed for harmful psychological and physiological symptoms in human beings. According to a 2001 review of the medical literature by the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, such symptoms range from annoyance to fatigue to nausea. We did an episode on this. Do you remember what episode we did on this? The Havana Syndrome. Do you remember doing that one?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so...
I remember that one now.
It's what they're describing.
That was in with China and 5G shit.
Yeah. Wait, was it? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Was it? No, it wasn't. No, it was on its own. Because we recorded that in the shed. Recorded Havana Syndrome with me sitting right here. It was like the first time I sat at this desk with my setup like this.
I've lost track of what all we've talked about.
Havana Syndrome. That's what they're describing here. So Eicher argues that just as a phenomenon may have occurred under extremely high wind conditions in Kolotsiakl the night of the incident, resulting in bombardment of the skiers by infrasound waves, including induced severe panic and caused to flee the safety of their tent and meet their deaths. But even if this would have been the case, it is unlikely that it would cause them to panic, have panicked in such a way. We know now from the Havana Syndrome stuff and studies that that's not the way they react. So, the avalanche hypothesis. One thing we do know induces panic in people on a snow-covered mountainside is an avalanche. While the number of skiers and hikers known to have been killed by infrasound waves to date is 0, avalanches are known to kill approximately 150 skiers, snowmobilers, and snowboarders worldwide every year, according to National Geographic. Moreover, the crushing weight of the 4 meters of snow under which the last 4 bodies of the Dyatlov group were found, possibly deposited there by an avalanche, could account for their internal injuries. According to meteorological data compiled by Evgeny Bayanov. I didn't practice that one. Evgeny B. Temperatures in the vicinity of the skiers' Kolotsiakl campsite precipitously from minus 11 degrees C to as low as minus 25 degrees C, C as in Celsius, on the night of the 1st of February 1959. Wind speeds are estimated to have reached between 8 and 16 meters per second, with gusts likely even higher. Without adequate protection, frostbite, hypothermia, and death are virtually guaranteed under such conditions within a very short period of time. We also know that, do you know what paradoxical undressing is?
I'm trying to figure out what the fuck 16 meters a second comes out to in miles per hour.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm American. I don't know meters.
So paradoxical undressing is when the body's temperature gets so low that the nerves no longer sense the cold, and the brain interprets that as it being warm. Therefore, you start taking off your clothes, which is another reason that a lot of them would have been undressed.
Yes. Yeah. The late stages of hypothermia.
So I understand that dying by hypothermia is actually one of the more pleasant ways to go. It's more comfortable.
Yeah. Until you get to the burning part.
Well, that's that paradoxical undressing. You start feeling hotter and hotter and hotter. You take off your clothes, then you feel fine. Yeah. You just sit there and go to sleep.
Jack Torrance style.
Yeah. Brr. So that concludes what I know about the Dyatlov Pass.
So my theory, cutting their way out of the tent suggests that there was something in the tent that they're trying to get away from.
Uh-huh.
If there's something outside of the tent that they're trying to hide from, you're not going to cut out the side of your tent.
Right.
There's photos and journal entries that go along with this story, too. There was a photo from the day before this event showing one of the guys in a jacket that had been burnt.
Jacket.
Meaning they've had some trouble at fire at some point in this. So it's not unreasonable to think that they had some sort of a fire in the tent to keep warm, and somehow something went wrong and it smoked them out, or embers went, or something caught on fire, or whatever, and that chased them out of the tent that night, forcing them to cut the side of the tent open to get out of it as quickly as possible. The footprints leading away from the tent suggest that they were walking, not running, and that they were organized in a single file. So once they were out of the tent, the danger was basically gone.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of clothes suggests that they were probably sleeping or getting ready to sleep when they had to exit the tent quickly. They didn't have time to put boots and pants and coats and shit back on before they got the hell out of it. So after the first two froze to death by the fire, I think there was some sort of a disagreement on what to do, with 3 people trying to make their way back to the tent for supplies and clothes, while 4 people went deeper into the woods to get out of the weather, or try to make their way back down the mountain, or whatever the fuck, just to get the hell out of there. And those were the 4 that fell into that ravine or whatever and got all crushed and fucked up. I've heard stories back and forth that up to half of these hikers were intoxicated at the time of their death.
Probably. They were college students.
And I've also heard that there was no alcohol at all on the trip. But that seems to be just Soviet propaganda, making them not look like partying college kids.
Yeah. Just Russia.
There's conspiracy theories that they're doing some kind of like arms testing on the mountain, dropping bombs and shit. But there's no evidence of bombs anywhere in that area close to them reported. The avalanche thing, supposedly that's not a high avalanche area. In fact, there's never been a reported avalanche on that slope from what I've seen.
Okay.
So that shoots that theory out.
Okay.
You can't prove or disprove UFOs or aliens. So that one's still plausible and not plausible at the same time.
Schrodinger's alien. Yep.
So really, those 9 people that died are the only 9 people that will ever know what the fuck happened in that tent.
And your explanation is perfectly plausible. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. The thing is, it's entirely wrong, and I actually know what happened. Do you want me to let you know? And it's pretty obvious when I tell you, because it just step by step, it just makes sense. Everything just makes sense. So they left on the January 27th. And then they died on the 22nd. So that is what? That is 8, 9.
Wait, what? No,
They left on January 7th, and they died on the 2nd of February. That's.
I heard the 27th.
Yeah, January 27th.
Okay, never mind.
No,
I heard 27th.
Oh, yeah, no, second. I might have said, no, I meant second. So anyway, it says 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. That's 5 days. So what obviously happened is they left on the 27th and they were encountered by Nordic aliens, and they were seduced by these Nordic aliens. And what happened was they had a wild alien human interspecial orgy, and they all fucked, and they all cummed in each other, and that's what happened. And we all know that when that happens, that's how you make babies. But the thing about Nordic aliens is their gestational period is only 4 days. So on that first night, they got pregnant. On that 4th day, on the 2nd, they started having that baby. They had no fucking idea what happened. But the thing is, when you mix fucking Nordic aliens with human DNA, you get radioactive bear fucking babies. That's what happens. Like, we all know this. That's in all the books. That's in all the studies. We all know this. That's a fact. So these radioactive bear alien hybrid babies are ripping themselves out of the fucking stomachs of these women inside the tents. They have no fucking idea what's happening. And so as soon as they're trying to help each woman in each individual tent, They don't know what's happened. And these bears pop out fucking all bloody and snarling and these teeth and claws and shit. And it's going fucking nuts. And so they come out and they start attacking the men that's with them. And the men can't get out of the tent fast enough, can't zip out the tent. So they cut the fucking tent open and they start running towards the woods trying to, run for cover. But these fucking bear alien hybrid radioactive babies they float. We didn't know that until the investigation of this. These things fucking float. So that's why there's no fucking footprints on this. And they go after these fucking people. They fucking use their telepathy and telekinesis to fucking split their head, to rip off their face, their nose, their tongue, and all that shit, and bury them under 14 feet of snow. It's obvious. I mean, now that I've said it out loud, it's very clear that that's what happened, right?
What are you smoking today?
A little number called Grapehead.
That's some good shit.
It is. Dyatlov Pass mystery solved. Cha-ching! That was a big stamp on the fucking paper of mystery. Solved. In big red letters. I thought
that was the Law and Order sound at first.
It was that too. It's the same sound. Yeah. On Higher Minds podcast, that's the same sound. That means the same thing.
Okay.
Anyway.
So were you just spitballing that whole time, or did you have that fucking written down?
I didn't have that written down. I was thinking about it when it started forming in my mind once you started giving your hypothesis. Yeah.
That's some good weed.
Yeah. Yeah. So floating radioactive bear hybrid babies. That's the obvious
alien
culprit.
Bear hybrid babies.
Radioactive. Yes. Floating radioactive bear alien hybrid babies.
I like that they chest burst like the aliens in Alien.
Well, that's how they emerged. I meant to say it that way.
If I wasn't a fat guy, I would have Stitch tattooed on my chest, bursting out like the alien from Alien.
Gruesome.
I like Stitch, and I like Alien, and I think that'd be a fucking hilarious tattoo.
I think that would look good on your tummy. I think you should do it anyway. Be bigger.
I got more real estate, I guess.
Yeah. Now that we've enlightened everybody on what on the mystery of this, how can people share their thanks for our crime solving skills?
What the fuck did you just say?
How can people share their thanks for our crime solving skills? To where should they send their messages of praise?
God damn, that's some good weed you're smoking.
How the fuck did they get a hold of us? God damn it!
There you go. We're on Facebook.
On Facebook.
We're on Twitter.
Same old gag.
We're on Instagram. You can email us direct at highermindspodcast@gmail.com.
Hey. My mic cut out. Did you say highermindspodcast@gmail.com?
Yup.
Yes.
The listeners can't see how dumb you're doing right now.
That is okay. You can. Yes.
That bit quit being funny.
I think you meant to say highermindspodcast@gmail.com.
I wish I could have screenshot just there. Just to get your fucking dumb face.
I mean, you could have. Get faster on your fingers.
They can find us at highermindspodcast.com.
highermindspodcast.com. And
listen to us at.
We first upload on SoundCloud.
Fucking everywhere.
On iTunes, and then everywhere else. Yep. Fucking everywhere. Dabba-doo Slim Jim. We're not being sponsored by them. We should be, though. Since I just said that. Maybe that just got us money. That'd be cool.
I just want Macho Man Randy Savage's ghost as our mascot. They can keep the Slim Jims. I want Macho Man.
I'm down. How much does he cost? I got it.
I mean, he's kind of dead, but...
Is he? Did he die?
Yeah, he died in a car accident. Like, fucking 10 years ago, probably.
No shit. Why didn't anybody tell me?
Yeah, he wrecked his Jeep into a tree. I think he had a heart attack or something that led to the accident. But yeah, he wrecked a Jeep Wrangler into a tree.
Oh no! Poor tree. I'm totally kidding. Poor him and his family. Oh, that sucks. I didn't know that. Huh. Did you know that Leroy Moore also died?
Who?
Yeah. Leroy Moore, the saxophonist from the Dave Matthews Band. In an ATV accident. Yeah, Dave Matthews. Chippin' Billies.
I'm a little too young for Dave Matthews.
Ants Marching.
Too man.
Under the table and dreaming. Take these chances. Place them in a box until a quieter time. Lights down, you up and died. Yep, Dave Matthews.
I've never heard that in my life.
There's your musical interlude for everybody. You're welcome.
On the plus side, you don't sing well enough for us to get copyrighted for that, so...
Yeah. Yeah. What else is... I can't think of anything... Oh, Crash. Oh, fuck. I can't think of the song now. Now that you're fucking looking at me, crashing to me. Yeah, I can't think of it now.
This show always falls apart at the end.
Does it? Or is it the glue that holds each episode together?
I don't know, but it feels like it just falls apart at the end every week.
It's like the secrets between family members that holds the family together. The bad things that happen.
It's like we should figure out a regular way to end the show and stick to it.
Yeah. Should we? I don't know. Maybe. If you want to, we could try shit. I'm down. It's been a year.
It's been over a year.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been the Higher Minds Podcast.
I'm Scott.
I'm Papa Darby.
Deuces, everybody.
Deuces.